Hi, Scott. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, fine. Thank you. And it's very glad to see you again since we have been in Seattle and we recorded a very short interview. And thousands of developers in China, they're focused on this event and they very like to hear from you.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. Yeah, we only spoke for a few minutes, so now we have more time to spend together.
Yeah, that's great. So let's begin our interview in this time. And first of all, I want to know, would you like to have some briefly share of your background and experiences in the field of AI?
Well, so my background in software engineering and in computers spans over 30 years. So I've been a software engineer for 32 years, since honestly, even longer, maybe 40 if you count the early days when I was young. But I've been working professionally now for 30 plus years. I've only been involved in machine learning maybe in the last 5 to 10. And now we're in a time where machine learning has become AI. And I like to remember and I like to remind people that even though AI is the word that everyone is saying, it's built on many, many, many years of data science and machine learning, even though the brand AI is very popular and very hot right now. And then currently I work at Microsoft, but before this I've worked at companies like Intel, Nike, and large companies like that.
Wow. So as you are now in Microsoft, we know Microsoft now is currently one of the leaders of AI in the world. So how do you think about the next step of Microsoft or even some program languages will be faced to the future, and what we will do?
Well, so it's a very complicated time because everything is moving so fast. And I think we are all a little bit worried that we might be getting ahead of ourselves. We might be focused a little bit too much on the technology. And I think it's important to think about the people when thinking about AI. There's lots
Yeah.
of things that technology can do, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing to do. So when you're building something with AI, when you're making something with a large language model, I want to encourage everyone to think about the good of the people. So why am I using this large language model? What is this program going to do? Is it the correct thing to do? Is it the kind thing to do? So I think there's lots of things with programming we can do with AI, but we should ask ourselves, should we do it with AI? For example, maybe an AI could replace a programmer. I don't know if that's a good
Yeah.
thing. Maybe
Yeah.
an AI could replace an artist. I like artists. I like art. I don't want an AI that can make me pictures or make me movies. I would rather hire an artist to do that. So I think of an AI as a partner, not as a replacement. And that's why I like the word co-pilot versus autopilot.
Yeah, you pointed that to the developers. So let's talk about the software and the developers. So in recent years, AI has begun to transform various aspects of software development. So what do you see as the most significant impacts of AI on modern software development progress?
I think the thing that people are not talking about is supporting older software. We are talking about AI making new software, creating and writing new software. But there's a lot of existing software that an AI could write tests for, could explain the code base to us. And an AI can also take a junior engineer and make them a senior engineer by helping explain the technology to them. So I spend less time with Copilot and AI writing code and more time asking it questions. Basically, I interview my code base by asking Copilot to explain it to me. And it almost feels like an interactive book.
Oh, oh, yes, you write a lot of blogs, and I noticed that maybe the last month you have a blog that shows us the unit testing some technologies for us. But I can see that in that way, it still needed a human being to to code, and how do you the view of the role of AI in code generation and automated testing?
I think that AI can generate boring code or code that is no fun. The word in English that we use is toil, right? Toil is just hard, back-breaking work. Hey, go and write me 1,000 tests. That's why you have an AI. But if it's
Yeah.
fun, if it's interesting, if it's creative, if it's human, if it's humane, then I think it's more fun for a person to write and not for an AI to write. So I want the AI to do the boring work.
Yeah, so while the AI have more and more parts of in our work, does it imply a fundamental shift in the role of developers?
I don't know yet. I think it's going to get better, but I think the problem with AI right now is that it is too confident. If you ask an
Yes,
AI a question, it will give you the answer, and it will be
yes,
confident in that answer. One of the examples I like to give in any language is, it's a beautiful day. Let's go to the. What is the answer to that question, sir? I'm asking you, what is the next word? If it's a beautiful day, where do you go? Let's go
yes,
to, and then I'm going to say,
yeah,
pick a word.
yeah, yeah. Of course, I want to go outside and
Okay, you
to
say go
to see some
outside.
nice thing. Yeah,
If you ask the AI, it will
yeah,
say beach.
yes.
Is that correct? Or is it simply the most popular?
Right, yeah, right. So it's just the answer from the models from some fixed models. Yeah,
Exactly. And it doesn't know. It doesn't know. It could be raining. It doesn't
yes,
know. Additionally, if I live near the beach, I would like to go to the beach. But if I live inland, if I live far from the beach, then that would be a strange thing to say. The AI is confident, but it is not always right. And that's a problem because programmers need to be right. Programmers need to be correct.
yeah. So in that way, how is think that now we can do some whatever fine tuning or drag or something else that the machine will learn more and more the behavior of the person, or let's say just a one person, and the robot can learn everything that you do, and maybe can do more and more some decision for you. So how do you think about that? Sometimes maybe we were controlled by the robot or by the AI.
You see, all of that is technically possible. But I would ask you, is it right? Is it correct? The
Yeah.
example that I give is I've been married to my wife for 25 years.
Oh,
So she knows more about me than the
yeah.
AI,
Yeah.
right? So if I say to my wife, it's a beautiful day, let's go to
Yeah.
she knows the answer. I don't want the
Great.
AI to know this much about me.
Great. Great. So your the point is very positive, right? So
Yes, it's
if you
about
can use it,
humanity,
good.
it's about people, not about technology.
Okay, so now I think AI agent now is becoming a very hot topic now. So let's talk about the agent, focus on the agent and the developer interaction. So there is a lot of talk about how they can help developers work more efficiently. And would you share some of the most revolutionary AI tools and AI agent tools or platforms in your option?
So, right now, the one I'm excited about is, of course, the Azure Copilot agent because it
Yeah,
makes sense. If I have an AI that knows everything, that makes me uncomfortable. But if I think of an AI being like a librarian, you go to
yeah,
the library, you ask for
yeah,
help. The librarian does not know everything, but they
right,
know who to ask. So the
right,
librarian is like the AI orchestrator who will
yeah,
then ask the agent to do something. So I can say, please, at Azure, make me a virtual machine. and then it will go and it'll figure out how to do that for me. So then imagine a world where rather than one super genius AI we have a bunch of little specialists, little
Yeah.
experts, expert in the cloud, expert in the web, expert in HTML, and then we can ask them each different questions. So I think the Azure agent is really cool. There's also some other companies that have some technologies that I'm excited about. One of them is called Pieces, Pieces .app, and it helps you collect your work while you're coding. And as you copy things to the clipboard, it looks at the clipboard, it looks at your tabs, and it's like a helper agent that's watching you code and is making suggestions about how your work can be better. I think that we're going to see very interesting changes in our workflow over the next 5 years.
Well, we can see at the beginning of microservice and the Docker and the container, it works well. But after the system is bigger and bigger, and we can see that a lot of problems rise. And for example, it's too complex and too hard to control it. Do you think when we use more and more agents, it's like it's done, we have many microsystems and microservices, and we have to control it and to use more and more tools and more links between each agent. Will it happen some very hard control things or something bad happens? How do you
Yeah.
think of it?
I think that's a really very good question that you're proposing. I think that the biggest problem is going to be permissions and
Yeah,
authorization. So if I have a Facebook agent or a Twitter agent or a TikTok agent or a Baidu agent, and I
yeah,
say, you have permission to do something, for how long? How much permission? Because you're
yeah.
doing something on my behalf. You're doing something as my proxy. So do I wish to allow it for 1 day, for 1 hour, for 1 year? And then should it expire? Those are going to become very complicated. And that's a huge problem in microservices with access tokens. And it's going to
Yes.
become a very large problem, I think, for large AI systems. I don't think we have a good answer yet, but I think that you're asking the right question.
All right. So we know AI agents that were very strong and they have made advance in understanding and executing complex developer tasks. And even there will be some problem in the future when it's growing bigger and bigger. How do you think what the impact does this have on the learning and collaboration with developer communities?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like people need to think about what humans want from their interactions. I think we're focusing too much on acceleration, making it faster, making it better. But I want to be more connected. So I would like agents to help me talk better to my friends like you, to learn more from each other. Agents can help us translate from English to Chinese and back, from C sharp to VB. These are the things that I would like. I want to accelerate me talking to other community members. What I don't want is agents writing my blog for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The we can see now in the open source communities, all the people learning how to code and how to make it more beautiful and stronger. And in the future, and with the AI and the agent, how do you think what we should learn and what we will talk about in the communities?
That's a great question. I like to talk about systems thinking. How do you think about an object inside
Yeah,
of a larger system? For example, at work today, I came in and I plugged in my laptop and I plugged my laptop into a USB C
yeah,
and it didn't work very well. The screen was not nice. It was very blurry. There's many different kinds of USB-C, Thunderbolt, USB-C, USB 3, USB 4, display link, all these words.
right.
The AI is not going to help me with that. it needs to see the big picture and how this entire system is going to be put together. The same thing applies to building a system in the cloud. You mentioned microservices. I think it's going to be a while before an AI can bring up a complete Kubernetes cluster and manage all of the relationships between all of the different systems. That's where I think humans will do better, because humans understand the problem. And for me, in my example today, I had to replace the cable. I had to buy a new cable. There's a bad cable. So I don't know how the AI would be able to tell me that.
So in the future, we may talk more about how to control AI and use it better instead of how to code it.
That's a great question. We might have to talk about the meta programming at the top level and how to think about the AI, but also we'll think more about the human systems that we exist within.
Yes, so there will be a revolution of all the communities, including the open source communities. And the open source communities have been crucial in fostering technical innovation and collaboration. And how do you think AI and AI agents will affect the way open source projects are developed and collaborated?
Yeah. I think that we're starting to see pieces of that where an agent or a bot can send a pull request. So like Dependabot is a very cool agent that runs on GitHub, inside GitHub Advanced Security, where a bot is making a pull request, improving my software, checking for security, and sending pull requests. In the future, maybe it will commit the request and release my website. I feel like it's like a self-driving car, but I don't want to let go of the steering wheel, right? So right now I get the pull request and I have to push commit.
Yes.
Maybe one day it will push commit for me.
All of my workmates we very like to use the GitHub Copilot, and there is one point I worried about. In past years, we learned a lot of skills for how to program and how to architecture the system. And after that, all the things, or I can say maybe beyond 50%, things that the AI can do it. So in the future, maybe some skills that will be, how can I say, we don't have so many opportunities to practice and to learn and to move on, and all the things that the robots, they can do it.
Yeah.
Do you think that it will let us to be lazy? Or
I hope it doesn't make us lazy. Let me ask you this: Do you drive? Do you have a car?
Yes.
Do you drive a stick shift, or do you have an automatic?
No, automatic. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how to drive a stick shift?
Yes. I learned that, but
You learned how to
now,
stick shift.
yes, yeah.
Right. But now, are you lazy?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think it's comfortable.
It's comfortable.
but not lazy. Yeah.
It's not exactly. So what we want is from the AI is comfortable but not lazy.
Yeah. Great.
I'll give you another example. Okay. In the 90s, when we would have more than one web server talk to each other, like we make a web farm.
Yeah.
Like here is a web farm. These are Raspberry Pis. Yeah. So I have 6 Raspberry Pis. So I would have Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, etc. And we have to load balance across these. In the 90s, I would have to wire them up. I would have to configure the load balancer. I would have to scale. So if I needed to have another server, I would have to buy another server, put it on top, Web 7. So now a young person on my team, they go into Azure and they pull the slider bar and they say scale. And then they go, this is taking like 5 minutes. Are they lazy or are they comfortable?
Yeah, great. A great answer and a great question. Yeah.
It's a good question. You asked a good question.
Okay, what challenges do you foresee in integrating AI technologies into open source projects? Especially, I think, is recording the code contributions and project management.
Well, I think we're going to be concerned if a contributor ends up being a fake person, right? We saw
Yeah,
that.
it's happened now, right?
Yeah, we saw
I
that
can see
last
some
week.
robots PR, auto PR for me. Yeah.
Right. But even more, someone could create a series of fake pull requests. We saw with the XZ utils where the person was putting a backdoor into some software. We don't know who they are. We don't know if it's one person or five. I think
Yeah.
identity is going to become a little bit challenging because we want to build up trust. And if I get a couple of good pull requests, I'm going to say, "Oh, well, this is great. She's really good. She's going to be a contributor now." But I may
Yes.
never meet the person or see their face. So I don't know if they're real. I think that's going to become a challenge.
Yes. How can we face the challenge? Are there any solutions or best practice that you would recommend?
Again, you're going to feel like I keep beating the same drum.
Yeah.
Humans, right? Like I've
Yes.
met you. I've met you. We've spent time together. We are on a call now.
Yes.
I'm 99% sure you're not an AI.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Could be, maybe
Yeah.
1%. I don't know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But so then if you send me an email or you send me a PR, I know it's you.
Yes.
Humans, right? We hung out,
Yeah.
we shake hands.
Yes.
That's, I think, important. An important part of being a technologist is it's not about the tech, it's about the people.
Wow. Great. Let's looking forward ahead and how do you believe AI will shape the future of software development and open source communities?
I hope it will make people feel more powerful. I think
Yeah.
the example I like to give, you've seen Iron Man, right? You know Iron Man?
Yeah. Yes. The
Iron
last
Man's great.
time you said that you're Iron Man.
Yeah, I want to be Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
Actually, hang on, I got this.
Wow, that's cool.
Right?
Yes.
Because I want to be Iron Man.
Yeah.
I don't want to be Ultron. I don't want to be a
Yeah.
scary robot. I want to be
Yeah.
stronger and better. I want to have a heart, though, a real heart.
Great. Yeah. Then like a suit will help you to do everything, but inside of the robot, it's human. It's a heart, right?
Yes, bingo. You get it. You get it.
Okay. So do you have some recommend for the developers that how they can facing the upcoming change?
Read, read a lot, talk to people, talk to your large language models. I've been spending a lot of time asking questions to understand the model. I don't think it's a time to be afraid. I think it's a time to be cautious. But I think we also need to remind ourselves that we are in charge, not the technology. So we get to decide if something is good. And we don't have to do everything just because it's possible.
So how can they make effective use of AI tools and the resources?
Well, I think that they should also be looking at small language models. Not everything means you take your data and you send it off to another country. You can
Yes.
have little language models. There's many to choose from.
Yes.
They can run on your laptop. You can
Right.
run them on a small server. I think we should think
Yes.
about people's privacy a
Yes.
lot. I think developers right now they think AI, OpenAI, ChatGPT, but it's a much bigger world. Like we talked about, machine learning and data science have been around for a long time. Every country is different, and different countries have different models. There's going to be open source models, there'll be company models, and each one has an expertise that is going to be different. So I would
Yes.
explore those models.
Yes. Great. In our team, we're also working on many different small language models, and it's works well. And I think also it's maybe another path connected to the future that the agent, a small agent can help people do a very detailed job. And do you think that we need to learn more about some the RAG and fine tuning skills that so the developers can train or can promote the capabilities of a small model?
Yeah, I think also a responsible AI within the context of content filtering, right? You
Yeah.
can have a model say very bad things, and
Yes.
it's not a human. It's actually a mirror. It's a mirror on who you choose to be, and if you say horrible things to the mirror, it's going to reflect back into your face. So I think people should familiarize themselves with content filtering and make sure that if I'm making a bot that orders coffee,
Great.
that coffee bot needs to only do coffee.
Yes. Yeah. So before we wrap up this insightful discussion, is there anything else you would like to share with the members of Sandpark developer community?
I just want to tell everyone that I appreciate you and your hard work, the fact that you are a
Thank you.
member of a community and you're sharing information welcoming and for free. That's what it's all about across countries, across
Yeah.
technologies. So I'm happy that you invited me to talk to you.
Thank you. Also, I'm very glad to do that. And what aspect of AI's future excites you at the most?
I think that the interesting work is going to happen in medicine. I think
Wow.
we're spending a little too much time trying to get people to buy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, AI is trying to make me buy things on TikTok. I don't. I would just like to be healthy and happy. So if AI can help me be healthy and happy, I will be prefer that instead of buying stuff.
Yeah, so all around how to live better and how for human beings to be better
Yes,
and not to fight each other, right?
exactly, exactly.
Yes, so thank you. So finally, how do you think developer communities would adapt to this change to ensure they continue to play a role in new technical landscape?
I think developer communities need to get back together. I think that after COVID, we stopped seeing people, have user groups and spend time together.
Yeah.
I think we should get together and we can tackle the future landscape in person. So if we can see each other's faces in person, we're going to be better. That's why it was nice to see you in person at Microsoft headquarters.
Yes, that's a very happy time that I think this is a very special experience that the human being connect with human being instead of an agent. The
Exactly.
agent is just run us and help us to be together better, right?
Agreed. Absolutely
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah, okay. Look forward, and I hope that in Microsoft and your blogs and your stream that we can see more and more exciting things that display on it. And I hope AI and agents can help the developers and the developer communities that we can do more and more benefit for the world and human beings.
Fantastic. I agree.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I know you are very busy, so very thank you very much for your insightful exchange and for your time. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Scott. Bye.